This magazine. I'm here with Randy Altman, our editor, and Bill Roberts has joined us from Adobe. Going to talk a little bit about Creative Suite 5 before we got cut off. Bill, I know there's several areas of innovation that you kind of wanted to highlight. Can we talk about maybe Mercury Playback Engine or some of the other highlights?
Sure. So I think that, as we look at our creative tools, we really want to make sure that we're suited for the platforms that people are using, and we're doing the right things with the information that they have to work with to make their work productive. So a great example is Mercury Playback Engine. So it's an area where we've not only gone 64-bit, but we take full advantage of all the CPU and GPU capabilities that are present on the platform. So we try to take all of the horsepower that's in the box and make sure it translates into creative freedom for the users. Another area is metadata. So as we move into file-based workflows, we've kind of lost that tangible touch of tape. Like you always have a piece of tape and a piece of paper in the front. You can find out at least the intrinsic metadata. In file-based workflows, that's just not the case. You don't know what the file contains. So being able to log metadata and persist metadata is a really important part of modern workflows, and we think we're at the vanguard of that. Another area is multi-screen. So how many people now deliver content just for one screen resolution and one screen type? Well, what we do now is we make sure that with Adobe Media Encoder, we can actually deliver the same content correctly formatted, correctly structured for any screen. So that's an important part, making that your focus is on the creative task, not on the delivery on the back end. So those are some of the areas that we really try to focus on. Interoperability is another big one, making sure that you can bounce back and forth between our own apps, but also we know every pipeline is heterogeneous, so you have to be able to talk to Avid apps and Apple apps, so we make sure that you can still do that as well. So making sure we have good interoperability internally, but being open.
I know that when Randy and I speak with some of our studio readers, a lot of the time workflow is an issue, and format support is an issue, and you guys were kind of at the forefront with the red support a couple of years ago. Where are you now with format support for maybe the different cameras that are out there, and is Adobe's Creative Suite kind of a solution regardless of what you're using for acquisition?
Well, this is an important thing. I think that, I think everybody would love it if the world settled on one acquisition format.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Everybody's pushing the boundaries in different ways for different reasons on the acquisition types. Some people are trying for lower bit rates. Other people are trying for just these big, gorgeous images. And we're trying to stay on top of all of those ones. So, we have done 3 releases after 5.0, primarily just to stay in sync with what's happening with all the different formats. With 5.5, we're delighted to show that we have Epic support for Red. So now all of those same controls you have in Red Cine are available inside the Adobe Creative Suite. So whatever people are shooting on, our goal is just to be there and make it so you can work with that footage immediately. No transcoding. You can just use it and go. Slam it into your computer and edit.
So there is no transcoding. It's all native support of these different file formats.
Exactly. So what we try to do is, when we deal with something like a Red, you've got a raw workflow, so you actually have to set a look before you can really, look at it and use it properly. Other formats, we have to deal with, complex, decompression and, different dock structures. But we do all of that in real time so that you can use the clip immediately.
We talked a little bit earlier about Audition, which is, I know, new for the Mac now, and you're pretty excited about that. Can you tell us about that introduction there?
And why did you add it to the suite? What were people asking for it?
Well, I think people were. There was we had 2 different apps.
Sound Booth was.
We had Sound Booth and we had Audition, and Audition wasn't available on the Macintosh. So one of the things we really want to do is have a consistent set of tools across Mac and PC. I think this is important because we find more and more Mac making its way into different even enterprise class pipelines, and obviously very important to independents. So by getting one application that's available on both platforms, it makes so you can have a mix and match platform pipeline. So having one platform that we can focus all of our audio energies was huge for us. And the Mac engine is just incredibly snappy, super high performing. So we're very happy to have that out there and have a very clear story for our users.
At the booth, I know that you said you have a couple of different demonstrations set up for the different components of Creative Suite, and you also have some guest speakers that are going to be there that would kind of raise awareness as far as how high profile some of the tools are being used. Can you talk about some of the users?
Sure. So we actually have a panel this week. Our senior VP Johnny Lopano is actually speaking to some of who we call them the digital rebels. So these are the people who take these new tools and do things in new ways. And I think a great example of that is Gareth Edwards, did the movie Monsters. I think you guys spoke to him.
Randy spoke with him, yeah.
So Gareth is great just because, in the new reality, with the high-quality software tools, the performance of the platforms, you don't have to ask for permission. You can just, go out and tell your story. And Monsters is a great example of that. Low budget on the front end, but incredible return. And now Gareth is just this, real celeb, and he's involved with the new Godzilla remake that's coming up. So he's at the booth. We have the assistant editor from Social Network, Tyler, talking about how they use the Creative Suite and that workflow. We have people from the Bandito Brothers. These are all these people who go out there, and they love the DSLR. They're doing interesting work with that. So you have all these kinds of people, as well as actually a whole bunch of broadcast partners as well.
Yeah, and you had mentioned that you have broadcast workflows set up. You have a couple of partner technologies there. I think you had said, was it Omnion, one of them?
So
or
Harmonix Omnion.
Harmonix.
We're showing how the media grid's connected in. We actually have stuff with AP EMTS, so you have those flash panels right inside of Premiere. That's something we did partner with Hearst. And we've got IPV, which is a proxy-based workflow that we did partner with CNN. So, a lot of high-profile people are using our tools to do serious entertainment.